my heirs, or it will be the right on that land will be created by some other person. So all these mutations are continuously happening. For getting a updated database, we needed to install various softwares on this database. The first software which we installed is iSarita IFLR integration. So what is iSarita? You might have got an understanding. I don't know what the previous speakers have spoken, but basically iSarita is a software which takes care of the end-to-end registration process in Maharashtra. If a person is doing any kind of transaction which is related to any kind of property over a value of ₹100, then it is supposed to be registered as per the Registration Act 08. And it's a central government act. So for effecting this act and for registering all the transactions that are happening on a property which is over ₹100, that includes all the immovable properties, there was a software which was devised by government of Maharashtra, which is called Sarita. At that time, it was Sarita software. Sarita has a big long form. Now we basically call it Sarita. It is stamps and registration, integration, something. So then in 2012, we uploaded it on Cloud Infra, so it became iSarita. And IFLR is a software which is basically a mutation software which we have installed for doing mutations on the database which I just now explained, which is on the village form number 7 and village form number 8. For doing any kind of transaction, there are 3 ways where the transaction happens. First is by registration, where if a person is selling his land or releasing his right or creating some mortgage, all of this is basically registered via deed, which we can convert into a template form that so and so except sold so and so land of so much estate to Y. So this integration basically auto triggers a mutation from iSarita software to IFLR software, and the software itself creates a mutation number where the discretion of the village revenue officer to create a deed is removed. There were multiple transparency issues of even after a transaction, the mutation in the record of rights is not happening. So we have tried to address that problem through this auto-triggered integration process. Whenever there is a deed which is registered, it is automatically triggering a mutation which with a number, and unless and until that decision on that mutation is taken, you cannot go ahead and take another mutation. It is called first in, first out principle, which we have applied. Then there is the second platform which is available on the online, where a person without going to village revenue officer can apply for various types of mutations simply by providing the information which he has. Like you have to just select your district, taluka, village, and you select your survey number, and then you can write, I want to do registration of my mortgage, or I want to do a ship application. Such applications are not only accepted, but an SMS is sent to the concerned person that so and so application is accepted, or there is a query. You can go on the platform and correct the query, upload documents, and in this manner we can actually remove the communication which is not open to everyone. That kind of communication is completely off the limit now, and by using this e-Hakka portal, without even meeting the village revenue officer, you can get your mutations done. Then third type of mutation that happens is basically order mutation, where a civil court or revenue court or even a department can give an order which has an effect on record of rights. So we have created a portal in which this application will, this order will directly be processed from the order issuing authority, and it will directly be seen in the Talati's login. So, and it will again have a mutation number. So why we are creating this? Because there was a discretion at the village revenue officer to decide which mutation he should do first. We have tried to remove that discretion and allocate automated numbers to the mutations that are happening, so that there is no discretion to the village revenue officer, and unless he clears the first mutation, he will not be going to the second mutation. So this P4 has basically helped in reducing any kind of intransparency at the village revenue officer. Then, on the basis of this, I'm very proudly saying this, that once we effected all these portals, and when we brought in all these softwares in place, the average days of disposal those were required for a mutation were reduced from over 129 days to 22 days. Now, in whole Maharashtra, I can show that online also, we require over 22 days only for clearing any kind of mutation. So this is a huge change. People were not aware why the mutation is painting at that level. They were completely unaware about what all is happening. So there is a portal, I will just show a slide about it, which gives a facility to the citizen to even have a peek view at what is happening at the Talati's level. So, in terms of giving facilities to the citizen, and in terms of governance, after a good study, I can definitely say that Maharashtra has done extremely well as compared to other states. If you, especially in terms of citizen facilitation, because we have a highly demanding, educated population, and there is a variety of people's expectation, and to cater to that, the state is able to use technology in a very large manner, and we were successful. We are still, at least I can say, we are fairly successful in treating them. So this is one more project which is called e-Chowdi. This project is basically again helping the village revenue officer or Talati to automate his level operations. So here what we have done is we have tried to use our three databases, which is village form number 7, village form number 12, and 8A, to create all the registers automatically. So there are various registers: village form number 1A, which is forest lands; village form number 1B, which is government lands; village form number 1C, which has again 16 types of lands. All this information is needed for kind of creation of databases, not only for delivery of services, but for policy making. Let me give you an example that as of now we have Devasthan Inam lands, which are lands that belong to temple trusts. There is no decision taken on how the use of change in use of these lands, or any kind of transaction in these lands should be done. And why? Because it is a very emotional and sensitive subject. Unless and until you have a complete idea of how many how many Devasthan Inam lands are there, where they are located, who all are the record of right holders, and what will be the repercussions, government cannot arrive at a conclusion. So, with such compilations of information, we will be reaching to certain conclusions which will be available to policymakers for taking right decisions. So, this is one very important work of each Audi software. We have also automated the revenue calculation mechanism, because we have our data ready with us. Now the Talati or village revenue officer is not needed to calculate it. It is automatically calculated, and accordingly, not only calculated, the calculation or the demand for every single city, farmer or landholder is available online. Shortly, he will start paying online also, and then the receipts of whatever he has paid will are currently also available online. This is one big subject again, digital crop survey, which is related to form number 12. Again, Maharashtra has taken lead in this. Since 2019, we were doing pilots where a handheld device was given to the landholder or the farmer who was supposed to go on a geofenced, on his land which is geofenced, and take a photo of the standing crop where it can be actually seen. So this method is being used by Maharashtra since 2021, and we can say we are at a fair maturity level now, because agriculture department has started using this data. Ministry of Consumer Affairs, every single government entity which is requiring any kind of crop related data is using this data, and that is the success of this project. So this is actually citizens contribution, because every single person is allowed and permitted by a proper mechanism to go on field, register his crop, and get it, and he can see it on his village, form number 712. So this is our Mahabhumi portal. I will request all of you to go on this portal and just randomly select any taluka, any village, any survey number, and check all these facilities. So there is a mutation notices board which is called Apli Chowdi, in which all the mutations, survey related notices can be seen if you select a single village. You select any taluka, any village, and if you click on that, whatever ongoing mutations are there, you can see all of them here. Then we can also have a pre-mutation status information, where mutation application status can be done. If the mutation is not done, then the person can check what is the current status of that mutation. Is it at notice issuing stage, or it is at receipt of notice stage, or is it at circle officer's decision status? That can be checked. Then there is this each-hourly citizen portal I just explained, that payment of revenue as per land holding is automatically calculated, and the demand of revenue amount and receipt of payment. All of this is available online, and you can randomly check. You don't need any information. To have a sample check, you don't need any information. If you want a specific information, which Sudhanshu sir was just saying, that if you need to analyze, then you need to have information. So if at all I know her and I know that she is holding a land in a certain village, then I can check for her land. But I cannot check for all her lands because I don't know. So this is the DPDP Act provision where we are covered. Otherwise, the DPDP Act says if you are declaring any of the information of a person, then you should take consent of that person. But in our case, we are not declaring the information of the person anonymously, unless and until that person is known, and you also have the knowledge that he is holding land in a certain village, you cannot have all this information. So if I am a person who is holding land in 15 villages and he knows me, then only he can go and take a list of all those 15 villages, go in those villages, and then take out all my information and give it to me. So this kind of cover we are having. So even after showing all the information, we are not having any provision breaking of the DPDP Act. Then we have also created a digitally signed record of rights platform, where the record of right is digitally signed and is accepted right from court till the banks. Everyone is accepting that. Around 3.3 crore are downloaded till date, the village form number 8A, and over 10 crore are downloaded by citizens themselves since 2021. And there is one very important facility, that is document verification. If you are an advocate, then you must use this facility, because there are fake documents which are created. Because the 712 is a document which is printed, you can just use some methods to remove a name and add your name, and again get a print and show it to anyone. So whenever there is a transaction that is going to happen, you can check the QR code which is printed on that number, and if you scan that number, then you will have the same document verified from this portal. You just put that number here, you will be able to see the actual document. If there is no difference between that document and this document, then your document is not a fake document. Then you can apply for mutation, that is e-hub, which I said. And then there is one very important facility which is Bhulek View, where you can freely view any of the 712s, any of the 8As, any of the property cards. Here again, you don't need to have any information if you are checking for a sample. If I want to download my own document, I will just put in my district, taluka, village, and my name or my surname even. With that, you will get a list of people whose surname is by say my name is Narkesh, so I'll just get a drop down of all Narkes in that village. You can select your name, and all the lands belonging to you can be seen by this Bhulek view. So this is our website which is very, which has very good number of hits, over 12 crore hits we have got till date. Now let us go to urban record of rights. So whatever I told is related to urban as well as rural record of rights. But there is a huge development that is happening in urban record of rights. And sir was also saying that Maharashtra is again leading this case because Maharashtra has a very high speed of urbanization. There are Maharashtra is the only state, I think, no, there are 5 more states along with Maharashtra who have their city survey manual. It dates back to 1920. There is first city survey that was done in 1924. So as of now, there are various city surveys that are happening under various projects. So there is one project called Naksha, where you are doing the city survey of Nagar municipal councils, and there is one project called Swamitva, where you are doing survey of the Gauthan land. So Gauthan land is a land where the abadi of the village stays. It is not the farm, but the houses of the farmers in the Gauthan area where you do not have a property card. We have created over 10 lakh crore valuation by just giving property cards to these 20,300 villages. So as of now, over 44,700 are the total villages, revenue villages in the state. Out of that, around 50% of the work is done where the property card is already issued for a property in a rural area village abadi, where this property card is issued, and now the person can actually go for loan. He can officially submit the document and take loan. So this valuation I was talking about. There are over 93 lakh property cards, and out of around only 1.5% are still remaining to be digitized, but almost all of them are digitized. And the mutations are done online. Over 4,25,000 mutations are done after 2021 when this digitization happened. This is online mutations. So, what are the challenges? If you see, if you people are staying in a area and which is a kind of a urbanized area, but you still have a cement well, then that is a rural record of right, and you still have it. Why you are having it? It is because the process of city survey is very slow. Here you are basically creating, you are basically using one, so this is a land parcel, and now this land parcel is amalgamated with another land parcel, and there are hundreds small pieces made out of that land parcel for creating, for constructing houses. So now you have to amalgamate all the land parcels which are together, make it one, and again divide it into small land parcels which will be given city survey number. It's a very tedious activity. There is a serious issue of inquiry where people lose on their right. People gain wrong rights. So for that, because it is a constitution process, because constitution process is involved, it takes a lot and lot of time. So recently we attended a big seminar in Kerala which was related to survey. My question to them was, we can do survey with various technologies, but what about settlement? These are two different things. Survey is a different thing and settlement is a different thing. So, sir is here, so he will definitely say there is a huge advancement in survey. We can actually do survey. We can go to till 1.5 or micro millimeters to understand that what is the actual boundary. What the question arises when the person comes understand who is currently owning the land parcel which is just measured. So there is a huge advancement in survey, but we need to also look at the process of settlement where we are going to declare as government, we are going to authentically say that X is currently owning this land parcel. So this settlement process is a very difficult process, and no one will like to be disturbed positively or negatively. By positively, I mean to say that if the person is having, say, 4 acres of 4 hours of land, and now he is having 4.5 hours of land, then also it is a problem. And if he was owning a owning 4 hours of land and now he is owning 3.5 hours of land and someone is declaring it, he will definitely contest it. On what basis? Because he is owning a parcel which was not measured authentically. He has measured it for his own self. But when government comes into picture and measures the land, then comes the question of authenticity and declarations. So here you have a very serious problem which is currently not addressed, and there was a serious and very good discussion at very high levels that should we disturb the currently settled waters? If we do it, is the government capable to handle the disruption that is going to happen? You might know that there are state governments which have collapsed because of resurvey and trial of settlement. So this is a very important subject because there are multiple research students. I will suggest that this is a subject which needs to be, you have to dive deep into it to understand how psychologies of the society are involved in this. This is not a purely technical subject. It has multiple perspectives and we have to take into consideration. Let me go fast because we have less time. So this is again urban record of rights. These are the two projects which I explained, Swamitra and Naksha. Then yeah, so about cadastral maps, I think Sudhanshu sir might have explained everything to you. This is eMosley version 2, which is it is sir's innovation and it is a gift to the society, I will say. This is one of the best things which has happened to the state of Maharashtra, where you have 100% transparency in understanding each and every single step that is being done at the Department of Land Records, which is basically doing the land measurement. We call it end-to-end digitization of e-Mosley, and fortunately, we are able to roll it out whole state after sir left. For this, we are using these 77 core stations, and we have proposed more to get better accuracy and good speed. There are certain limitations. He might have spoken about it, especially in urban areas. We have limitations. Again, Survey of India person will explain that in detail. So I'll just skip that portion. So these are the snaps about how this eMosley version gives you a final map, and you can see the latitudes and longitudes. This is a official proper layout which we have. I have taken from the software itself. So this is where you can where we have also integrated the record of right or the landholder's name. This is one very important thing which is again I wanted to explain. It is about sharing of the data. So record of rights data is currently shared with government entities and their institutes under them. So it is integrated with over 90 banks for crop loans, integrated with state and central entities like MSP procurement, then POCRA, which is a research institution, building plan management system. Which is basically studying the seeds, and for to them also we have shared our data. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs and Public Distribution. Then we have also shared our data with Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana, Agri Stack and Kusum. Then we have also given our data to ePanchanama, which is a software which checks the crop damage, and we have integrated with civil codes. Maharashtra is again a pioneer. You all might know the AgriStack scheme. This scheme is completely based on this data which we have shared. We have shared all our data with banks. So currently, banks have our 712 in their hand on their laptop or desktop, whichever they are using. So when a person goes with his name on the record of right and shows that this is the ownership I am having, then the person who is sanctioning the loan can actually check whether he's actually owning that much of land or not, because we have real-time real-time data integration with them. Similarly, with MSP procurement, if you are declared that you have sown dhan, then only you will be getting you will be able to register at the MSP procurement. Otherwise, you will not be doing that. Similarly, for Ministry of Consumer Affairs, they just used it for onion for the recent soybean, and there was one more crop. Yeah, there was so we have given data to them also. This is the portal. We are actually going to open it to private players also, but monetization thing is a big thing and it will take time. Uh, yeah. So this is again about governance. This is a project called Land Dashboard, which is creation of a tool for the monitoring, supervision, and regulation of all the IT projects under a single district. So this is a district collector's dashboard where you have all the static data, and you can see at the left there is a project dashboard where you can check efficiency of the officers who are working on that data. This has really helped all the district administrators to bring efficiency in the processes which they are doing. Then these are the upcoming projects. So because I am running short. So this is a property update portal which we are doing where you can register by paying rupees 50 per survey number or per owner's plot. So if you see 712, then in the 712 there are khata numbers. For each khata, you can register by paying rupees 50. If any transaction is happening in that, you issue a notice first. Government issues a notice for any kind of line measurement, for any kind of mutation. You will get an SMS that such and such transaction is proposed to happen in this property. This will be a game changer for people who are actually unaware of fraudulent transactions that are happening in their lands. Then the second is crop loan hypothecation. As I told you that there are multiple banks which give loan, but unfortunately, which bank has given loan to this person on what basis is not recorded anywhere. So we are creating a uniform platform where the crop loan hypothecation information will be available to the bank which is going to give the next loan. They will have understanding that on the basis of this 712, the person has already taken so much of loan. So on the basis of that, they can decide whether to give loan or not. So online Talati office inspection is again a very important thing which we are doing. We have improved ourselves quantitatively from mutation disposal days from 100 we have brought to 22. But what about the quality of the mutation, whether that is proper or not? For that, we have developed this inspection and it will be launched soon. E-title search is a huge, big project where we'll be showing all our data, not only the mutations, but the scanned information. Just pass it from there.
Sorry.
Scanned data. Yeah. And this is the way ahead.
You can complete this.
Okay, so this is what we want is we will be doing our georeferencing not only complete, but we will continue it. That will be done only by making sure that the eMoSD version 2 is existing and is continuously improved. Then we'll be integrating eMoSD with eFailPar and ePCIS. Then there will be seamless integration between Alpine and Revenue Property ID, which is as of now a big requirement. Then we will also real-time API-based data sharing with government, semi-government entities, and we will also work on optimum monetization and secure data sharing with private entities so that it can be used for um, more good things and some ready-made things for people. And we will also work on continuous training and capacity building of government officials. So this is our day ahead. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. This was really exciting. So much detail. Fantastic. So now we have Mr. What we will do then, we'll have Mr. Raman Murthy and Aryan as a representative from IIT. And then we will have, no, this was fantastic. Thank you. And then we'll have a Q&A with the panel just before.
Introduction is not required because we have discussed. I am from Survey of India. My name is Raman Murthy. And basically I am I have
sharing.
Almost all in cadastral also I have so much experience because
Which one?
I
do
was involved.
share?
Uh,
This one?
in previous week. Yes, yes. Okay. First of all, Saviko Namaskar. And actually, I want to discuss so many things, but
Would you like
very
to come
time
here?
is limited.
No,
Yeah.
come here.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so regarding the technologies of mapping regional futures, as I want to come there.
Yes, please.
Yeah, please, sir.
थोड़ा उधर थोड़ा और एक मेरे ये दे दीजिए मैं
Acha, you want to
एक
sit here? Yeah, sure.
simultaneously. ठीक है.
Please.
Very fastly I will go because as you know, in the British reign, all the surveys mainly they are done with the help of chains and plaintiffs. They are the initial methods on which almost all rural people as well everybody rely on chain survey in those days because that is the only method available at that time, which is based on some theodolite surveys and triangulation points like GT stations, etc. Now the technology has enormously changed over the period of time, and mostly for surveying purpose nowadays satellite based techniques are used in which control points are being provided by highly accurate GNSS methods, which we call global navigation satellite systems, by which we are able to get our position wherever we are, means our latitude and longitude at any place.
ये शेयर करना पड़ेगा
हाँ शेयर कर लीजिए
ये तो रिकॉर्ड नहीं
कर
होगा
दीजिए इधर सबको दे दीजिए
There.
कोई नहीं ओके because yesterday they were asking that what are various methods. Actually they have not seen drones, etc. I will show one slide through which I can show that how
You tell me, I'll navigate it for you.
एक नेट कनेक्शन कर दीजिए नहीं तो ये रहने दीजिए एक कर देता
I think the net is connected already.
ओके
If
सो
you just
स्लाइड
the-
ये स्लाइड
This mouse is not connected.
उसमें
Uh,
ठीक है कोई बात नहीं अभी थोड़ा वो करते रहिए थोड़ा ओपन करते रहिए मैं बताता हूँ ओके सो we have switched over to modern technologies. So mainly for mapping, we are using satellite-based GNSS techniques, mainly in which we are based on GPS, etc. And in India also, we are
he needs.
going to establish our own GPS in future. That is what which we call it as IRNSS, Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. But as on today, the accuracy of that system is not acceptable to the cadastral standards, means revenue standards. We require because land is very costly, and nowadays for a very small inch of land also people will fight. So that is the reason the accuracy which we are able to get from IRNSS systems is only up to 20 meters. Okay, so but the ISRO chairman recently announced that they are also making it global, and they are in a period of time, over a period of time, they are going to make it global like other GNSS systems. But still now the biggest this thing is we are relying on GNSS being given by US, Russia, and the European Union and China. These are the four major nations which are able to give the GNSS satellites, which we are able to get very precisely that accuracy into millimeter level. Okay, because earlier days the cadastrals mostly they are up to 0.5 meters accuracy, and we should understand the basic difference in the scales of various surveys being done for various purposes. Because topographical mapping, that is on a smaller and medium scales, like 1:24,000, 50,000, 250,000. But the land value is very costly. So the state departments where the land parcels are mapped, they have to be mapped on a very large scale, like 1:1,000, 2,000, 4,000, like that. So nowadays the data, earlier maps, all the maps were on paper format. The paper format maps cannot be used for editing. So many problems will be there. Preservation, everything is different. So nowadays, all the maps being digitized so that they will be in soft copy format, and if they are georeferenced means if they are connected with the ground control points, and we can get the actual location where they are, that position is on the ground. So that is the thing where we are going forward. And mainly this today's topic, they have asked the various bottlenecks. First, I want to discuss on this. The bottlenecks, major drawbacks are most of the our country, the coordination between states and center is a very big challenge. That is a political issues and so many things. And every state and every state's cadastral surveys are according to their earlier settlement process, rules and regulations, they are different. And to bring into a common platform for all the states, it is a very difficult task. And but it is going to be addressed very shortly, as Sudhanshu sir and Shekhar sir, they have ideas, and they are actually working in higher levels also to discuss in major symposiums and meetings, so that a uniformity between the states can be achieved. That is one big challenge in this land governance, that is to be addressed. And second thing is, we should understand how the people who are going, the stakeholders of the lands, they have to be made aware of the technologies by various means. We should make them aware, means they should be educated. So many people do not know what is a drone survey, how if they have not seen and how they used it. And GPS also, nobody sees the GPS satellites, how it works, or nobody knows. So these technologies, when we are using to parcel their land, earlier because the surveyor of the revenue surveyor used to go to ground, and he used to measure it on the ground in front of him, and they will understand. ये चीज तो आप लोगों को सोचना है कि डेफिनेटली मीन्स आदमी को जो है वो ये ऊपर से मैपिंग कर देता, वो सही करता नहीं करता, दैट थिंग दे आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ, and they will always have a doubt in their mind. So people should be made educated. That is the thing, because we here हम लोग प्लान्स कर देते हैं, यहाँ ऑफिस में बैठ के हम लोग बहुत कुछ बोल सकते हैं, सब कुछ होता है, लेकिन एज सेड मैडम वाज टेलिंग दैट ग्राउंड रियलिटी, ग्राउंड में जो सेटलमेंट करने का टाइम में जो पब्लिक को कन्विंस करना जो है, वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट टास्क. सो दैट हैज टू बी एड्रेस्ड. That is the biggest challenge in land governance. How to address the common man to understand whether he is getting the correct parcel or not. Because he will be always relying on his old record. That is the cadastral document which was made in 1930s, 40s, like that in the British reign. They were made with the help of chain surveys. Okay. लेकिन completely आजकल projection अलग है, datum अलग है. They are in ground terms. Means actually whatever reference we are using, that is completely changed. So we should make him understand कि वो कैसे मतलब ट्रू पिक्चर ऑफ द, अभी उनको ग्राउंड में दिखाना है, पिक्चर शो कर सकते हैं हम लोग का, ऑर्थो इमेजरी दिखा सकते हैं, अलग अलग वे में उनको थोड़ा रिलेबिलिटी में लाने से ये प्रोजेक्ट सक्सेस होगा. ओके. एंड एज वेल एज जो सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया जो है, it prepares the basic base data, and if you all the states use the same base data as a reference, they will be in common platform, so that any dispute between neighboring states can be addressed. In neighboring states भी हो सकता है, neighboring districts का अपना अंदर का भी, if they are in the same format, same data format, then that can be addressed. That is the thing. And
This mouse is not connected to this actually.
ठीक है, ठीक है, एक मिनट, एक माउस चाहिए फटाफट.
इसको लगा दो.
सॉरी टाइम कम है. मैडम भी बड़ा अच्छा डिटेल एक्चुअली शेयर्स गो गेट इनटू काफी डेप्थ है, लेकिन क्या कि यहाँ जो रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स जो दोज हु आर वर्किंग, दे शुड अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दीज एस्पेक्ट्स इन डिटेल. दैट इज व्हाट, because I am seeing it from 1993. I was in a project in Angul Nalko, Odisha. I mean, there was a project in which we have done the survey of 400 villages by using aerial photography at that time. By 1:10,000 scale में aerial photography करके scale we used to prepare the maps on 1:2000 scale for 400 villages and that plot map means अभी जो पट्टा जो दिया जा रहा है उस टाइम में हम लोग we have done as a research project which was मतलब उसको UNDP का फंड्स था सो वहां से किए थे आई वाज इन्वॉल्व्ड इन दैट सो सिंस देन आई एम सीइंग इन डिफरेंट स्टेट्स like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and out of all these states, as Madam said, Maharashtra is being the leader because now it is very fastly both in Swamitva project as well as the Naksha project. Maharashtra is in the top list as on date, and because as Madam said, most of the people are literate and mainly settlement में जो काम करते हैं वो लोग भी थोड़ा टेक्निकली एजुकेटेड एंड स्किल्ड मैन पावर है इसलिए वो कर पा रहे हैं लेकिन अभी भी कुछ स्टेट्स है जैसे बिहार है उड़ीसा है सो मेनी स्टेट्स आर देयर द जस्ट सर्वेयर्स आर इवन मेट्रिकुलेट्स भी नहीं है काफी वो स्टेज है उनको जो हाईटेक चीज समझाने में दे आर अनेबल टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड मेक द वो खुद अंडरस्टैंड नहीं है तो पब्लिक को क्या अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे दैट इज द बिगेस्ट चैलेंज. Okay, so the staff who are working in settlement departments must be technically sound and new recruitment होना चाहिए and whenever the recruits they should be well educated. यदि new recruit नहीं है old recruits है their skills should be improved by giving some training to some in these technologies of GS. As Sudhanshu sir said, the people are working in that. And now I am going to show some slide in this this project where it will make you understand. I will show one video which will make you understand how drone survey is carried out in a very short 2 minutes video. Okay. And because we should understand mainly the scale concept, what is the plottable error in each map, all these are very, very important to be addressed. And you can see one small movie in which actually was shown how the drones are being flown and the land parcels are being captured. Okay. So, this is the Panchayat Raj project.
ड्रोन सर्वेक्षण क्या है? एक ड्रोन सर्वेक्षण में ड्रोन या मानव रहित हवाई वाहन यानी यूएवी का उपयोग किया जाता है जो नीचे की ओर वाले सेंसर से हवाई यानी एरियल डेटा ग्रहण यानी कैप्चर करता है. ड्रोन सर्वेक्षण के दौरान जमीन का विभिन्न कोणों से कई बार फोटो खींचा जाता है और प्रत्येक चित्र को कोऑर्डिनेट्स के साथ टैग किया जाता है. अभ्यास में ड्रोन के माध्यम से चित्र लेना, जमीनी डेटा के साथ पुष्टि करना और फिर इसे उच्च रेजोल्यूशन नक्शे में विकसित करना शामिल है. सटीक दूरी या वॉल्यूमेट्रिक माप जैसी जानकारी निकालने के लिए भी नक्शों का उपयोग किया जा सकता है. सैटेलाइट चित्रों की सटीकता 30 से 40 सेंटीमीटर है, जबकि ड्रोन चित्र 5 सेंटीमीटर तक सटीक होते हैं. सर्वेक्षण पद्धति. उपयुक्त नोटिस के बाद जमीन पर घेरों को चिन्हित किया जाएगा. विभिन्न स्थितियों के लिए मानक संचालन प्रक्रिया यानी एसओपी विकसित की जाएगी. भारतीय सर्वेक्षण विभाग द्वारा सभी उचित अनुमतियां प्राप्त करने के बाद ड्रोन द्वारा सर्वेक्षण किया जाएगा. ड्रोन सर्वेक्षण के माध्यम से संग्रहित किए गए डेटा को भारतीय सर्वेक्षण विभाग द्वारा प्रोसेस किया जाएगा. डेटा के आधार पर उच्च गुणवत्ता वाले नक्शे बनाए जाएंगे. कोई विवाद होने पर राजस्व और ग्राम पंचायत द्वारा मामला सुलझाया जाएगा।
As you see, this is an integrated project. आप यहाँ देख रहे हैं कि यहाँ जो है सेंटर, स्टेट, लोकल, ग्राम पंचायत आर आल्सो इन्वॉल्व। मेनली फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल दो ग्राम पंचायत लोगों को जो है इन्वॉल्व करके लेने से भी लेने से ही कोई प्रोजेक्ट सक्सेस होगा, नहीं तो कोई प्रोजेक्ट सक्सेस नहीं होता है, क्योंकि पब्लिक दे आर द मेन स्टेक होल्डर्स एंड वी शुड डेफिनेटली एड्रेस देयर needs and we should understand their, educate them how these new technologies are beneficial to them so that they can able to get their patta as well as they can get some loans from banks, etc. All those whatever further advantages as well as this land governance, because आजकल जो है 3D डिजिटल डाटा फॉर्मेट में है, सॉफ्ट कॉपी फॉर्मेट में है, कोई भी मोड में कोई भी डिजाइन फाइल करो, आर्कजीएस कोई भी आजकल का जो टेक्नोलॉजी का जो भी फॉर्मेट में है, we can prepare maps if the new technology is adopted. That is the main reason. And that these three-dimensional होने से क्या होगा, earlier land parcels of state departments only mapping means area only आता है, area of the parcel, but now means कोई भी irrigation plan करना है, because the third dimension is also there, canals layout करने के लिए और कुछ करने का जरूरत नहीं, same data can be used for drainage, roads, कोई भी कुछ भी चीज प्लान करो आराम से हो सकता है, because volume can be generated also, lengths, areas, volumes. That is the advantage of 3D high technology whatever being आजकल हम लोग कुछ भी बोलिए drone, GNS जो भी है, but ultimately my this thing is the bottleneck is to make aware, I mean staff को भी aware कराना है as well as the stakeholder को भी educate करने से ही ये project success होगा, definitely होगा, it will take some time, but definitely it will be a successful. And I am very much thankful for giving me this opportunity to come over here to participate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
ये शेयर कर दीजिए, बहुत डिटेल्स है इसमें.
Sure, sure, sure.
And
We will have a Q&A after this.
my number is
you want to
there.
go next?
My number is there. You can share.
Stop at around 30, 30.
Ma'am, I am
1:30.
just I am leaving my
You leaving?
train exactly 2 o'clock ज़्यादा
Let's
है.
do this. If anyone
नहीं,
has
lunch
immediate
तो नहीं
questions
है.
for you,
हाँ,
then
बता
are
दीजिए.
you happy
Yes.
to answer any questions? Maybe one or two questions?
हाँ, yes, definitely. बताइए.
So should I make there are definitely there will not be any questions or there are any other things. I have
आप भी मैडम हुआ ना.
because I have
And I have my number. At any time you can ask me, because all the research scholars, those who are to be benefited out of this, and I'm very much interested because I'm a teacher for around 18 years. I was in Hyderabad Training Institute, Survey of India. So I can guide.
Time is
Okay.
different.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm sure. I think that by fixing Aryan, if you're ready, pass on the mic.
So I will give my.
Yes.
Thank you. No problem.
Just make a mistake.
Well, I am pleasant. No problem. Okay. Okay, I'll say such thank you. Thanks, madam.
Thanks a lot. Sir, मैंने आपको phone number दिया है इसके. I hope you have written it yours.
Ma'am, if you could share your presentation, that would be great. Thank you so much.
मेरा शेयर कर दीजिए.
हाँ, आप कर देना.
इसमें डिटेल्स काफी कुछ है, मैं थोड़ा ही पता है. ठीक है.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Sorry about the delay. Are you coming?
Sorry. Neha, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Sorry about all the.
Thank you so much for coming.
all the scheduling and everything.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
PM meeting I cannot miss that.
ठीक है.
Supreme authority. So I
Grateful,
cannot say no
grateful
to
that
him.
you could make it this
Yeah, yeah.
time.
And that's why I said, because I don't know how much time I'm going to take.
Yeah.
That's why I said,
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
thank
so
you, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, madam. That's very
Thank you. You have your number, like, please.
Yeah.
I'll share the one. Thank you.
Just introduce.
Then you have a break.
Okay, so no, we're just going with this next presentation, then we'll have questions and break for lunch. I know you have to go, you said, right? Okay, have a seat. Let's come back.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah. Oh, that's it, yeah, the one whole.
Government officials, they have such strict temporalities that you have to work with them.
Yeah, I mean, they do their busy, they don't if you're busy. Yes. Like in my experience, I haven't had a government meeting start anytime, which is not 30 minutes after the schedule.
30 minutes is good time.
Yeah, I know, that's the best case.
Yeah.
So at least traffic one.
How are you doing, Sanjana? You here for field work or a break?
I'm defending now.
Okay, defending now. Wow.
So.
Wow. Who's your examiner? Maths your
Yeah.
supervisor, right? Maths.
Friendly advisor, and I
Yeah.
have a committee.
So who's in the committee?
The man. Matt Wilson.
Matt Wilson, all right.
Yeah.
And?
Michael Savas,
Right.
who's GRP.
Oh, you're in good hands.
Yeah, I feel, I'm very grateful for to them for giving me all the exceptions.
Yeah.
I also am starting a job at Resident University next.
Fantastic. That's Delhi, right?
Bangalore.
Bangalore. Fantastic.
You can call it Bangalore, it's like Temple and
Oh, congratulations. Great. So that's your like permanent job or that's your kind of time filling?
So I see it for at least a few years. I would love to be back in.
Yeah.
And,
Great.
it's a good start. It's a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
place.
It's fantastic. I think Renji has a good reputation.
Yeah, it's really fun colleagues. It seems like so.
Nice. And they're collaborating with IIHS as well, no?
They do have professors working. Again, they have a lot of work in land governance.
Yeah.
I don't know Shah Narayana.
So where do people generally work after graduating? Because-
Where do people in several places?
Yeah, I know.
A lot of academics, but I guess.
She's not from TIS, she's from University of Kentucky, right? She's finishing a PhD in Kentucky. Now coming back to India. And we met in the AAG, which was, where was it? Now even forgotten. Denver. Was that Denver or? Detroit. Okay, anyway, have a seat. So just wanted to start our final presentation and then we'll do the other two that was in this panel after lunch, just because we're getting late for lunch. So the final presenter is Aryan. Sorry, what's your-
Already done.
Aryan Gandhi. And he is, he's a very interesting position because he is a student of IIT. He's just finished his undergraduate, but he's also launched a startup, right? An SME? Is
Okay.
it an SME or a startup?
It's a startup.
It's a startup doing what he's going to explain as TerraStack. So thanks for joining, Aryan. And in the schedule, it actually says Dr. Milind Sohani. Milind Sohani is Aryan's supervisor, and Milind Sohani did some work for the settlement commissioner whom you heard from before, Mr. Sorry, mine is not working. So Aryan and Milind Sohani work together, but Aryan now also has his own startup. So I'll hand it over to you, Aryan.
So, and as she said, I'm Malin. I'm co-founder of TerraStack and a recent graduate from ID Bombay Computer Science, BTech. So, I mean, since we're a bit short of time, I'll cover three things. Firstly, our project work with the settlement commissioner, government of Maharashtra, which was Sri Sudhanshu Sir. We've worked with him for a couple of years now, but had worked with him. Then I'll spend a bit of time on, because this is a humanities sort of talk. So I'll spend a little bit of time on the insights and the implication of technology that we gained from these last 2 3 years of project experience. And then I'll introduce Telestack, the work we're doing, in the financial sector, in agribusinesses and so on, and how it relates, and how we actually built on it based on our work with settlement. So, yeah, again, this is sort of our core team, Dr. Milind Soni, the co-founder of Telestack as well, and we've had a lot of great advisors and team members of players. Yeah, so, around 3 years ago, the settlement commissioner had actually approached us, us being IT Bombay, that these paper maps, when they were scanned and digitized and tried, when they were approximately put on, the centroids, tried to, when they were approximately georeferenced by aligning it with satellite imagery, a large discrepancy was noticed, right, where the ownership lines or the ownership partitions were often passing in the middle of a farm, 30, 40, even 50 meters from the actual farm parts. Now, if you try to legalize such a map, then there'll be like a revolt like the very next day, right? Because a farmer will never accept that half of his farm now goes, or half of his produce goes to the next farmer. So these ownership maps are quite sensitive, and the problem statement was, can we do something about it? Forget trying to solve the problem, can we actually characterize the problem? So we started sort of working on it. We had a collaboration, and we still do have collaboration with Google DeepMind, where we get high-res satellite images, which are processed to extract farm boundaries, right? So, through these 30-centimeter resolution satellite images, we extract, the exact bunds and use that to as a proxy for ground reality, right? As a proxy for actual possession boundaries. And then the problem statement kind of emerged that we have these data sets which represents possession boundaries and one which represents your ownership maps or your ownership partitions. How do we reconcile the two? If we overlay them on each other, can we characterize how bad the map is? Can we build algorithms to fix it vis-a-vis possession without, distorting key metrics like areas while respecting, these GCPs, the ground control points? And, that's how it began. And it was quite successful. So our first sort of pilot was for around 100 villages, 120 villages, which we executed successfully, got an extension of that project, which we're still doing in 6 decils across 6 different districts in Maharashtra. And it's ongoing, and the problem is really convoluted because these old maps are the best sort of legal representation that we have of actual boundaries on the field. And of course, farm owner, and there's a lot of complexities which are actually involved in the process, right? With tehsildars, sometimes fudging boundaries, sometimes a record keeping is not as great, sometimes the map gets damaged. The GCPs can be moved, even though surveyors try to keep track of it, there's always encroachment. There are, a multitude of problems that come into this play, and, the issue is always in characterizing it and dealing with it technologically, right? And which we do. So, given this context, I want to talk about this a little more from the humanitarian aspect of it, or maybe the policy aspect of how you actually go about solving this problem. And I think we've come really far in Maharashtra. And Maharashtra is, now that, with Telestack, we now work with, 7-8 states. And Maharashtra, I still feel has the best sort of quality of records and the best maps in general. And I will come to why that's true. The first step to sort of tackling such a problem is actually admitting that that this problem exists, right? So, during our journey, especially once we had a successful stint with Maharashtra, we had also presented our work to, and, have started engaging in pilots with other states, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and presented our work to, a DOLR at the Government of India, right? Senior bureaucrats there. And, outside Maharashtra, the same rhetoric kind of kept repeating that, our cadastral maps, the survey maps, they're quite accurate. They're 1 meter or 2 meters, away maybe, and maybe you can help us bring it down to 30 centimeters, but 8 meters are higher. And then we would open those maps, and there would be some random squiggly lines. For example, in Madhya Pradesh, the cadastral map, if you look at it, what's weird because they would never show those cadastral maps, with the background as satellite imagery. Because if they do, then then there's like a huge other problem that'll come up. But they honestly look like, squiggles, right? And so, but the thing is, who's going to take accountability for it? Because there's been a lot of work in BILRMP, as a project, and so admitting to the problem itself was like was a key first step that Maharashtra took, right? Sudhanshu sir, I think he's quite a visionary in this field, and he taught me and taught us a lot about this domain in general, and he was the first to admit it openly and take steps to solve it. And other states may or may not do that. The second step, which we which is important to solving or at least tackling a problem like this, is characterizing characterizing the problem, let's say mathematically or at least in a process-driven way. So what do I mean by that? See, for the first 6-8 months, there would be this back and forth where we would try to take these maps, build algorithms on it, try to squeeze, jitter the cadastral maps to align with farm plots, and then there would be, then we'd go to the government office and there would be some, random sampling of plots, and like, no, this plot doesn't match, this plot is good, this village is bad, this village is good, and it would just be like an endless chit chat, right, without any real direction. And the problem with that was because there was no standardization in metrics, right? Like this, there was no statement that, we need to optimize these 2 or 3 or 4 data points. This is an optimization problem, right? This is a metric that all parties agree to. And, and this is the falsifiability of the metric. So even if, for example, these farm plots, this collaboration that we had with Google, that's something that's wrong. It's right 95% of the time, but sometimes it's an AI model, so or a machine learning model. So sometimes it misses a farm cut. There are seasonal differences, of course, in farming that happen, especially because in India, smallholder farming is the norm, not the exception. So, but if there is no general agreement and falsifiability of the metric and the metric itself, then it becomes really hard to tackle it meaningfully. Then you're just sort of stuck in a loop, even if you have the best of intentions. So I think, now what we kind of have come to, where in a village, our problem statement is now about focusing on, finding a general fit, then finding anchor polygons that, whose 3 or 4 metrics align really well. The shape is consistent with the original map. There is an excess area metric, or distance to one metrics that we have developed, which is under a certain threshold, like 5%, 3% for the best fit polygons. And, the Akarband area, the right of record area actually matches with geometric area, again, within 3%. It'll never be an exact fit. If I have a lot of polygons, it's going to be above 10% as well. But if it matches under 3%, these become our anchors, and the others are now problems to be solved on the field, right? So with this ideology, we've been able to move forward. But before that, it was all kind of fudgy. Right? Also, land records has a huge legal implication, so that again slows things down. But nevertheless, the third thing I think which is important, which is learning that we as a tech first startup and tech first project event. At that point, we learned is that technology is really an enabler or a checker. It's not a solution, right? So this is something we learned while, for example, a huge part of the project was, collection and standardization of GCPs, ground control points, right? So where we had worked with the field people to try and, we didn't collect GCP, the surveyors did, but they would go on the field, they would, identify these black dots and collect the points, but that wasn't enough. We really needed labels on the GCP, especially given the quality of GCP and so on. So those are other problems, but we need labels on the GCP so the algorithm to consistently work, right? So we devised this labeling thing where, if there is a tri-junction where 3 survey numbers meet or 3 gut numbers meet, then, if they're 33, 34, 35, then write 33-34-35. If it's a junction between a road and 2 polygons, then write RD-1-2, whatever it is. Right, and it's a standardized problem, so it should have been easy to execute. But the problem is that surveyors, half of the time, they didn't know what the survey numbers actually were in that area, because, survey numbers are antiquated. The other half, they didn't follow the simple instructions. Instead of using dash, they'll use slash. Sometimes they'll use nothing at all. Sometimes they'll use the gut number. And even in sort of this, simplistic sort of process, there were issues. So that's where technology actually came in as a backbone, where we introduced real-time checking, right? Whether GCP is accurate or not. Then if there are 10 GCPs collected, we would randomly remove two, right? And see if the fit, with 8 GCPs is better than 10 GCPs of the village, and so on and so forth, right? And build algorithms sort of around human error. Instead of trying to automate everything, right? Which is really not feasible. So I think that's another insight that we learned, where the focus is actually on scalable processes that can be executed at scale at a state level or even at a district level. So yeah. So now coming to how this sort of motivated Terrasign. So about sometime last year, me and Professor Soni, we had quite a bit of success with land records. He had a lot of previous experience with projects like POCRA. So he had a POCRA for 5-6 years, right? If you've heard, a project on climate resilient agriculture, where it's about real-time crop deficit models are run based on weather patterns and so on, and the actual vulnerability of each plot is computed, given irrigation. So we decided to kind of put all these data sets and models together to create a composite sort of super sharp plot and village analysis tool, right? Where our idea was to build India's first rural land intelligence platform, where each plot, there we have hundreds of data streams, right? Like weather streams, rainfall, nearby, the road network, with district roads, village roads, highways, and so on. Nearby amenities, APMCs, mandis, schools, hospitals. That's from the infrastructure side, as well as because of Google's collaboration, we have exact farm detections, so we can map the farmer to his farm plot, crop detection on it, and we have kind of built a lot of this research already. So we decided to put it together to create, take all these data sources together, build out intelligence layers from our primary data, and which then can be used for a variety of things. The primary focus now is BFSI, so rural lending, insurance, land transactions, but it also has use cases in all sorts of public applications, public planning, disaster management, utility planning. So we're working with infrastructure projects as well, like laying down pipeline. So and this is sort of what really came up in Tata, where we had these standardized plot and village report modules, where anyone can kind of search up their plot ID or their khata number or a survey number. Download in about 7-8 seconds this entire plot report, right? Which covers our estimated valuation, and 100 other metrics. And similarly, we put all this data on a map viewer as well. So this becomes really important for planning, right? So if you're, for example, laying down a pipeline in an area, you want to know, okay, which cadasters does it intersect with? Where should I put my transmission tower? Where, what is the fair market rate in that area? What has the farmer actually grown in the last 3-4 years? And based on that, what should his crop compensation be? And a variety of other sort of problem statements that we can really tackle, right? And that's at an organization or at an enterprise level. For a farmer or a person who's, let's say, even buying or selling that land, this becomes a great stamp of approval of third-party source data, which is largely satellite derived and taken from trusted sources. So these are some of our partners and customers in the FSI segment, and I think a great partner for. I mean, we are incubated and signed, of course, in IIT Bombay, and we are also a great partner of Google. And yeah, you can reach out. I can also or reach out to Professor Soni as well, who will give a much deeper understanding of the policy implications. things in them. And I think the last thing I want to show is our product. So this is live for all of Maharashtra and a few districts and other states as well. So MP, Telangana, AP, bunch of others. So Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra, Telangana, Rajasthan. So this is kind of what a map view really looks like, right? So these are, let's say, the cadastral maps, overlaid on satellite, and you can do a lot of interesting things. So you just need to go kind of click on a plot and verify his ownership information and just press download report. And in real time, all these data points are pulled, metrics are computed. The report is generated. Another, so it will take about 7-8 seconds. But another interesting thing is heat maps, where, for example, this becomes important from a strategy point of view. So, for example, if you want to, we are doing a pilot with Washington's district collector, right, to map out farmer vulnerability, or farmer risk. So this is, for example, a report that's quickly skimmed through it. Land record boundary. So these are our indices, waterlogging vulnerabilities, really concerning thing. I'll tell you why.
Italy is your development in-house.
Yes. So estimated valuation, rice value vulnerability, subject support. And yeah, we get to, for example, why waterlogging vulnerability is such a concern. Because it's relative elevation, it's in a relative valley, so it's negative 2.3 meters. So the water collects there, it's near a stream, and so on. And so another few data points are like, it's crop prediction. So, through satellite, we've detected cotton 1.94 hectares, soybean, I think 0.97 hectares. And sometimes when the EPIC record is there, which is, I think, also talked about the government, very interesting to see how they diverge. But anyway,
So you're able to showcase the moisture level of the land.
moisture. No, we don't define moisture. We have soil clay content and some composition parameters. We don't add real-time moisture. We can do it, but we haven't had a demand for it. And then some infrastructure, and then village level. So we take the data from Google, luminosity, how many kirana stores, pharmacies, salons are there, trends over the last 25 years of how luminosity and built-up area has changed, weather trends over the last 2 years, wet spell this, dry spell this, so things like that.
For same, you can also use the ArcGIS platform.
Correct. The dashboard in itself is just a way for people to securely view our data. Otherwise, because we don't really want to part with our data. So this is just an interface for people to securely view our data. And we also provide like a warehousing service where people, banks can upload their own customer data sets. And exactly. People alongside. So yeah, and I mean the same sort of, this is a standard WebGIS platform, so you can always heat map, filter on, let's say, dry spell vulnerability. So this is important in the Marathwada, at least generally speaking. So kind of this is how it looks like for this test. So the pale yellow regions are points of concern. So, I mean, and there are a lot of places. But in general, yeah, that's about it from my side.
Thank you so much.
That was really interesting. If anyone has any questions, you can ask. Maybe I can start with a question. Sorry. Well, just a quick point of clarification. I thought you made a really interesting point about building algorithms around human error. Could you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah. So, so this was to do with GCP collection, like ground control point collection. Surveyors go to the with the rovers and collect points. So what often happens, especially when labels are not accurate, which they're often not. So is that surveyors are either, for example, they're not getting a signal. So they'll take 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 points at the same location. There'll be a cluster, and some of them will have labels, some of them will be junk. So if you kind of, you need to be able to detect, for example, where clustering is happening, and either try to identify the ideal GCP or just remove that cluster altogether. Another case would be where, and this is particularly dangerous, where a GCP is just mislabeled, right? either because, the surveyor got confused with the label, or the office worker or someone in IT kind of mislabeled it. And that can, completely derail your entire village. So the solution we've kind of come up with is, I'll explain, if there are 10 GCPs, you pick up any 8, right? And all combinations of 8 such GCPs, which will be like 45, and try to fit on those 8. And see, when you fit on these 8, for these 45 combinations, where is, distortion under, reasonable limits, and where is your excess area optimized? So once they're, doing excess area or, basically any metric, right? And that kind of helps you weed out, tolerate up to 20% error. So yeah, like you have to plan for those.
So algorithm is also identifying where human errors might be occurring.
Exactly.
I see. And then trying to rectify those human errors
Yeah.
through another algorithm.
So the reference point is a traditional map.
Yes.
Sanjana had a question. Use the microphone, Sanjana.
It was really interesting, thank you. I was just mentioning, was it the Google or Google bank platform itself, and as a specialist, that's why even with the Google platform, you have some level of centimeters, and you need to do like the code registering, and again, you're overlaying multiple layers, those sort of errors.
Otherwise you will not find them.
Yeah. Adam, so I was also thinking about errors like this which come up, like perhaps on a hill slope, for example, like an aerial imagery will not be able to accurately capture the shape or the area of the land. So I was just wondering how you deal with such errors, and when they come across, also how do you report on them, and how do you what's your process of your process of reporting them and even getting an accurate picture.
Yeah, that's a fair question. I mean, the horizontal error problem is something that we had to really, we spent a year sort of doing a back and forth about it. So firstly, what we've done is kind of moved from doing these farm plots as, as a fixer to more of a checker, right? So yes, it is true that, those 2-3 meters of discrepancy will always be there. And we try to fix it, fix it using GCPs and so on, right? So once we have GCPs, and we kind of know that in overall there has to be a shift of 3 or 4 meters, we do that adjustment, but even then there is a scope of error that we can introduce, right? So what we've done with the final tuning is now done on GCPs with the checking happening with the farm plots, right? So all our metrics are farm plot related, because the metrics don't change much if there are 3-4 meters. I mean, if you look at the data set, listen, because there's always like a 4 meters or a 3 meter gap, which is not caught satellite. So in general, that's not an issue. And again, right now, our cadastral maps, we're not at the level where we are already 2 meters accurate, right? See, a lot of the boundaries will be 30 meters or 40 meters inside. So at least those gross errors can be picked up and solved for, or at least, if not solved for, but at least flagged, right? But yeah, the final tuning has to be done on these. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. I think we have to break lunch. And please join us for lunch, and then what we'll do is we'll come back maybe 2:15, 2:30.
So what you do, they are
Thank you so
here
much.
and Neha is here.
Yes.
At 2 o'clock, they will close it if you don't go.
Okay, okay,
So quickly we reach there.
okay.
Because
So we'll